I'm Joe Packham, and I'm here doing research for machine design for Dr. Nagurka. Today I'm going to talk about something that you've all learned in Dr. Park's class: doorknobs. Now, if you remember from freshman year, you had to make subassemblies. Today I'm going to disassemble a doorknob into 3 subassemblies and then reassemble it. Here's our doorknob. So if you'd like to come and take a look, come on, don't be shy. We've got a doorknob. This is the inside. We're going to call this the internal lock. And we have 2 Phillips head screws. We also have this push in and out latch with some sort of a spring. And then this side, we're going to call this the external locking side, because this is the side you'd lock with a key or something. So the first thing we need to do is get a Phillips head screwdriver. Here we have one Phillips head screwdriver. It's got 4 knobs on it. When taking this apart, you don't want to take one screw all the way out at a time. You kind of want to keep them equal. Once you get it out a little bit, the doorknob will start to move because you run into a problem getting the screwdriver in with the doorknob. So here we've got a loose knob, and I'm going to hold it in or pull it out to make it easier to access. So now I'm going to continue loosening equally. So if you want to take a look in there, you can kind of see what's going on. Here's one screw. It's flat on the end. There's no threads there. And then the threads go all the way up to the head. So there's 2 of these. So we've removed both screws, and now we can pull out the internal locking side. You can see it has a square shaft, and it rotates. The shaft rotates. Now if you look, there's a connection mechanism related to this lock. So if sometimes I can't turn the lock. I have to find the right spot where it allows me to turn the lock. So that's not, I think, yeah, see, it's not easy. Apparently you have to, okay, there we go. So now the lock has gone in and the mechanism has come up through these ridges. So now it's popped and I can't turn the doorknob anymore. If I unlock it, you see it come down. Now there's a spring in there and it can freely rotate. So let's look at the external side. Here's the external side. This one rotates and then flicks back. It doesn't have a locking mechanism. It can turn in both directions. We've got a pretty strong spring down here. 2 shafts with the holes that hold the screws. Now let's look at this latch part. I can't pull it out. So I'm going to have to do something a little unconventional. And I'm going to take, now this is a drywall hammer. It's lighter than a hammer for putting in wood nails, which has the 2 prongs on the back for ripping out nails. This will allow me to hit with a lighter blow. And I have a crescent wrench. So I'm going to put the crescent wrench in halfway. And you can see it. on this side, and I'm going to have to put it back up against this I-beam and give it a few quick whacks. And there it goes. So now here we have the latch. When we press it in, this little white knob rotates backwards. This shaft goes down, and another shaft seems to come from inside this cylinder. Now, this square is used for inputting the internal locking side. So now let's see what happens when we turn it. When we turn it, it moves the latch. So now we have 3 subassemblies. Each of these can be disassembled further. We have some little knobs down here. Now if we can pry these knobs up on both sides, then we could remove this top piece. Now same thing with this. If we bend down these knobs, let's get a good view of the knobs. See these knobs? If you can bend down these knobs, then we can remove this top plate to access the rest of it. I'm not going to do that in this video. Instead, I'm just going to put it back together. The first thing I'm going to do is put in my latch. It needs a little whack. I'm going to take the internal locking side and put it through the white shaft with the square recess. I'm going to put in the external side and grab the screws. So I'm going to line up the screws. I put them in here. I'm going to line them up with the exterior side. Thank you. And I'm going to do the same thing where I put them back in at uniform rates. So I do a little on the right and a little on the left. I ended up taking this door off a hinge. I just moved, and there was a dark room in the basement, and we didn't want it to be a dark room, so we converted it and removed the door. And I was cleaning this room, and I decided I should just take apart the doorknob and see what happens. So what happens is what I've documented in this video. I ran through it a few times by myself to get the hang of it. And now in the next video, we can break apart the sub-assemblies. So I seriously think back to in Dr. Park's class when you all did the external drawing. You had to do a hand drawing, and then you had to draft it. So now it works. I can lock it. The best thing about taking things apart is putting them back together. Anybody can take it apart, but only after you learn about it can you put it back together. So thank you for your time today, and enjoy class.